Tando is from Fundukukhle. Hold on, Fundukukhle Daycare and Aftercare Centers in Orlando Gardens. Welcome, good afternoon. Fahmida, welcome to you as well. We already have 39 people on the call. We're waiting for a few more. My name is Helene and I'm joined today by two owners. We're going to discuss some great marketing tips. Get 2023 off to a great start. Hey, Ati.
Definitely.
I feel like it's Christmas tomorrow because this year has been long. It's been a long year.
Very long.
We're also being joined, I see here, Mokhadi is from Montessori Sun Valley Preschool. Welcome. As well as Liesel from Sunwood Christian Academy. Welcome, Liesel. We have Yagnita on the call. She says she's joining an ECD Centre next year and they will be using the app. Oh, okay, that's fantastic. That's really interesting. Fakile is from Kulani ECD Centre in Durban, KZN. Welcome, Fakile. Bilkish, from my side, I can't see anything from my side to activate your camera.
I'm trying. I'm not sure why it's not coming on.
Yes, these things, and it worked well when we did our practice run.
Yes, definitely.
We want people to see your beautiful face. Do you want to leave the webinar and come back?
Yes, maybe perhaps I should do. I think I know why. It asked me to register.
Oh.
Yes. Oh, the link that you forwarded to me, it asked me to register. So probably that's why.
Okay.
Yeah, so let me just get off and try again.
Perfect. No problem. And we have more people joining us. Nelisiwe is from why? And my tongue is tying. It's from Mbalenhle Daycare Center in Germiston. I'm so sorry, my Afrikaanse tongue, it's really struggling to get around those beautiful words. But good afternoon, everybody. Goeiemiddag, Morweni, Siyabonga. I hope all of you are very well. My name is Helene Brandt. I'm from Grow ECD Centres and I'm the marketing manager for Grow. Today we are talking about marketing. So it's my favorite topic. I'm very excited. And I think what we will do today is we're not here to talk theory. We're not here to talk about if, maybe. We're talking about practical tips, advice, and tools to help you gain more customers and keep your customers because you've worked hard to gain them. You must keep them as well. And to do that, we are being joined by two preschool owners to help us understand their tips and their strategies. So all that I'm waiting for is there's Bilkish, our other panelist. I would like her to join. And let's see if we can get Bilkish's beautiful face on this camera.
I'm on.
Yeah. Excellent. Welcome, everyone. All right. I'm going to start immediately. I see it's 3 o'clock. So I want to share my screen with you. I want to get going. Good afternoon and welcome. You are in the right place. It's lovely to see you here. Please, if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. This webinar is for you. Let's first check if you are in the right place. Maybe you should leave. Maybe you shouldn't even be here. This webinar today is for you. If you are an ECD Centre owner and you love running your preschool, but you're feeling very overwhelmed by the idea of marketing. And this whole thing about marketing your preschool sounds a little bit scary and daunting. Or if you are just a preschool owner who wants practical marketing tips, you don't want to go on a 3-day marketing course learning the theory. You want to know from other preschool owners what works and how can you do it. You want to gain customers, you want to keep your customers, and you want to improve your business sustainability, knowing that your business is running smoothly and going well because you have good paying customers. Or perhaps you're an employee, a friend, or a family member who is helping someone to run their preschool and market their preschool. Today, I hope we can share some great practical tips with you. So just so that you know, this webinar is being recorded. You will receive the recording as well as all of my slides at the end. So just grab your pen and paper, make some notes if you want, and feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. I will also look into the chat every now and then to see what questions you might have, and where possible, we will answer all of your questions. Okay, so if we can't get to it, we'll come back to you. What are we covering today? We are not wasting time. We're getting straight to it. I'll tell you very briefly who is Grow. We will tell you more about our free marketing guide, specifically for preschools. And then we'll dive into it immediately with our 2 guest speakers. The big mind shifts we need to make. If we are a preschool owner, what do we need to do to start thinking like a marketer? Because when we change that thinking, marketing comes more easily. And then we're going to dive into 20 tips. 10 tips on how to gain customers, 10 tips on how to keep customers, with practical examples from Ati and Bilkish, and then the next steps. If everybody's ready, let's go. Who is Ati? Who is Bilkish? I have looked across the country to invite you 2 great guests. Ati Diomfana is the owner and principal of Hope Preschool, based in Blue Downs, Cape Town. Ati, won't you just tell us briefly, how big is your school? What is your community like? So how long have you been running your preschool?
So, hi, good afternoon, everyone. So I started operating in 2017 with only 4 children. And because of the relationship that I have with my community, I am now with 64 children in my center. So it's look, you need to work with your community in order to gain their trust, and to also just try to keep them as well, so that they don't run away. Now I've got 4 classrooms and I've got aftercare as well. So I just love what I do. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. I'm so excited to have you here, Ati. Our second guest is Bilkish Vauda. She is from the Durban area in Bel Air, and she's the owner and principal for Pretty Palms ECD Centre. And between you and me, I also know that Bilkish has recently started a second school. She's also received awards and accolades for her amazing work that she does in education. Bilkish, won't you tell us a little bit about your school and your community and your passion?
Good afternoon, everybody. So my story is similar to Ati. I started my school 10 years ago in my lounge, in my home, with just 4 kids. And we are now in our 10th year, and with my 2 schools combined, I have close to 100 kids. And I became a Grow with ECD Centre in 2018. And hopefully, well, this year, my second school is also going to be a Grow with ECD Centre. And for that, for me, that is a huge, a huge accomplishment. My community also is a very close-knit community. We have, parents need our service because they are all going to work, and they need a creche or an ECD Centre that they can trust, an ECD Centre that is reliable. And I think I just ticked all the boxes for them, and that is why I'm so successful in my area. So I also, I think I have 5 classrooms now.
Yeah.
We take kids from just a year old right up till grade R. And my long-term plan is to go on to grade 1, but that's still, that's a future plan, but definitely.
I love it. I love it. Excellent.
Yeah.
So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we are in good hands today. I've been in marketing for many years. My wrinkles attest to it. Love marketing. So in the right place today to hear from 3 people who are passionate about business and passionate about marketing. So today is not a sales pitch, but just so that you know who we are, who is Grow. We're a non-profit social enterprise. We offer a holistic model. we want to offer a model that makes running a sustainable preschool a reality and a possibility for everybody. We really believe in sustainability, and we believe that you need both business and education combined to run a great and sustainable preschool. So we're doing this work because we want to empower the people who are educating the next generation. It is the educators who need the support so that our next generation is ready to become active citizens really in our country. Our vision is that we want to see 5-star quality early learning in every single neighborhood, because we believe that that will unlock the potential of children, teachers, and the community. And so how do we do that? Well, we equip and we connect ECD businesses with the skills, the support, and the resources that they need to provide quality early learning for every child. And that resources, that skills, and that support there's different types of offers that we have, or services that we offer. Very importantly, who do we work with? So Bilkish, Ati, these are ladies that we work with. We work with men and women in the ECD sector who are principals, owners, teachers, or ECD support organizations that service the ECD sector. But what we are looking for specifically is we want people with a head for business and a heart for children. It really starts with having a heart for children, but developing the head for business so that we can provide that service sustainably. Because that is what we want to achieve, not just in the short term, but in the long term, offering sustainable service. So what type of services does Grow offer? Firstly, we have some digital tools. You might have heard about our free app, online training, data-free training, and access to lots of free downloadable resources. I will mention 1 or 2 of those today where they relate to marketing resources. That's for free. Those digital tools are all for free to any preschool across the country. Next, we offer a quality education program, which is essentially the Grow Daily program or curriculum for 2 to 5-year-old age groups, the full classroom kit of equipment to implement the program, education, mentoring, and training for teachers to make sure in the classrooms we have amazing quality education. And thirdly, we offer business support to develop, so that you can see in the middle, that's the heart. And on the right-hand side, business support, that's the head for business. This includes business mentoring, access to affordable loan finance, specifically for preschools, training, and like today, webinars. So these are in essence some of the services we offer. And if you're interested, reach out to me or reach out to us after the call. But I'm not here to talk about that today. I'm here to talk about marketing your preschool. So today we are launching a new guide that Grow has created called Marketing Your Preschool, How to Gain and Keep Your Customers. This is one of those free downloadable tools that you can access via the app. So if you already have the app, you can immediately, as I'm talking, download this free guide. And in fact, rather than telling you about the guide, let me show you. I have a little, now I wonder if you can see this. Stop sharing. And share screen. All right, so marketing your preschool. This is the guide. So if you download it today or any other day, it talks about all the details of why you should be thinking like a marketer, what the mind shifts are you need to make. We'll go through practical exercises helping you through the process of marketing. And I'm not talking about a theoretical process, just practically the 6 steps you need to take to create and test your marketing plan, create your ideal customer, and then we give you practical examples for every single tip. So all the tips we're talking about today, there's more detail about each of them in this guide, and you can also download many of the free resources. I just wanted to show you that so that you know this is the resource we're talking about. Very practical guide to help you with your marketing. So if you want this guide, it's already loaded in the app. You can get it under the My Tools section, Resources. You go into the resource portal and scroll to the section called Marketing Your Preschool. And there you can download the guide. Okay. I want to start off by chatting with you, Bilkish. When you started your preschool, were you thinking like a marketer? And why do we need to even think like a marketer? What is this all about?
I think when I started my preschool, I was not thinking like a marketer. I was thinking more like a woman with a passion for education, and my goal was to start an ECD center in my community that had a different approach to early childhood development. But as my business took off, I realized that I'm going to need more than just that passion and that dedication. You know, I'm going to now have to think like a businesswoman, because that is what my school is about. It's a business first and foremost, you know. So that is why that is when I realized that I should now think as a marketeer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And you can only provide that excellent service if customers choose you.
Definitely.
And thinking about your parents as a customer is a bit of a mind shift. In fact,
Yes.
Ati, I'd like to, Ati, for you to talk to us a little bit about some mind shifts we need to make as we go from thinking of ourselves only as centers who provide a service, or maybe even if we're registered as a non-profit organization, it creates possibly that mindset of community mindedness, but thinking like a marketer is applying the business principles. Will you talk to us a little bit about some of these mind shifts?
So as you can see there, it says your preschool is a business. Of course, I mean, you're providing a service. And so for that service, you need to be paid. So parents cannot expect you to look after their children and teach them and then expect it for you to do it for free. They need to pay for the service that you give. So having a preschool means that you are a business person, you are having your own business, and so therefore it needs to be paid for. You need to make an income from your business. It's not a charity where you can give it for free. You understand? So I just hope like people understand that as well, even if we do have parents that are in the webinar. So, and then also, I just wrote a few notes here. The parents also should know that they are customers. They are not just people that will come in your center and just expect you to look after those children. And then also you need to have a strict policy in your school. For example, you could use your application form as a contract that the parents have to follow. So in your application form, you will strictly tell them that you need to pay for the 12 months of the year. And if they don't, then you can take you can take further steps, because they signed in the application form that you are using as a contract. They signed and agreed to pay for the services for 12 months. Even if they decide to keep the children at home, they need to pay the fees. So your business should be treated like one and not like any charity where they can just get services for free.
And do you find that that initial contracting with the parents helps them to set the mind that, wow, this is a valuable service, I'm paying for it, there's an obligation? You know, what are we doing wrong sometimes, you know, when parents think that they can just send their child and they won't pay? What are we doing wrong, and how can we make that better for ourselves?
Look, you as the principal, you need to be strict on your business, because if you are not taking your business serious, trust me, the parents will also not take it serious. So if you are strict and serious about the application form, and you tell them, if I don't have the application form, you don't bring your child. So it's a 50-50. You sign the application form, bring it back to me, then you bring your child. So it will work in that. It will work if both parties are, you know, coming on the boat.
I feel like after that I need to call you Principal Ati, because I feel I can sense as a parent, Ati, I'm going to pay you on time. Thanks for sharing that. I think that you must start how you mean to continue, and starting the relationship off on a good foot, saying that this is the service and this is the fair price that you will be paying for it is interesting. I think also when it comes to marketing, lots of people think marketing is just selling, just getting more people, as many people as possible. In preschools, that is not the case. Number one, because you have a legal capacity and you do not want crowding in your school, because that will affect the quality of the service you offer. So marketing is about gaining the right customer and then keeping that right customer. So for example, Bilkish, I was wondering, when parents come into your school, what are you looking for to know if this is the right type of customer for your preschool?
So firstly, I want to know that the parent is employed, and he must be serious about his child's enrollment. He must know that we are not just a care facility. We are an early childhood development center. We follow a curriculum and we do assessments, and we are serious. We are serious about education. So I would like for a parent, that is what I look for in a parent, to know that he's serious about his child's development, and he must also understand that he needs to pay a fee in order to get that quality of education. Because
and it sounds like sorry, go for it.
Yeah. Often you get parents who come through and say, well, I need a creche, and when you tell them the fee, they can't understand why you're charging that fee. And you need to explain to them that this is why I'm charging that fee. This is what I offer. This is what I do. So then parents would value what you are offering.
Absolutely. So I think what Bilkish is talking about is so valuable. So something that we've put in the marketing guide for you is that we've put examples of how to identify your ideal customer. For each business, your ideal customer might be different. Bilkish's customer is not necessarily your customer. So we've put some guides for how to create your ideal customer, and then how to identify the needs that that customer has and how your business solves that needs, because that is how you will sell and market your business. So for example, you can already hear Bilkish is talking about the curriculum, the program, the learner assessments. Those are things that she values and that she wants her parents to value. And the more you understand who your customer is and what they value, the better you can use that to promote your school. Minnie, I do see your question. Thank you. We'll answer that in a few seconds. So there are some people in your lives, maybe you're already thinking like marketers. These are the types of questions you could ask yourself. Does my preschool have enough paying customers? Are we operating at our total legal capacity in every classroom? Do I have the right type of customers for my preschool? Do I know what my ideal customer looks like? Do you have the marketing material and the processes ready, just like that, to take someone from being interested to becoming a customer? Often I see that this is a big gap for people. And do I know why parents are choosing my preschool above other preschools? That would essentially be some of your unique selling points. So when you download the guide and you work through some of those questions, it'll help you to answer that. That's why I think a great definition of marketing is the activities you do to get the right customers to buy your products and services to solve that customer's needs. All right. The marketing process. So inside the guide, you will see that the downloadable marketing guide gives you a marketing process. It starts with understanding your customer, listing their needs, setting some goals, and the guide gives you very simple, practical tips for how to do that. And we've even given you some examples. We've made up our own school and used that school throughout to give you examples. Next, you can plan your activities to achieve your goal, do your activities, review how well it went, and keep going. So today we're going to dive straight into some of the activities for gaining and keeping customers. Let's start with gaining customers. So in the manual, we go into detail into the following 10 tips. Because we have limited time and because we have our great speakers on the line, we're going to dive deeper into some of the top issues that we see people face. So Ati, let's skip logos and let's start with signage. What can you tell us about signage and what we should be looking for?
So now you need to remember that your signage is for a preschool. It's not for older people. So it needs to have some color, and the printing or the name of your school, it needs to be bold and big for people to see. So that is the most important one. And it must be where people can see it. I mean, you cannot put it around the corner of your house. It needs to be, if needed, it can be right by the gate or it can be on a higher wall where everyone can see it. So
Yes.
your signage, also your telephone number can be on there, and your operating times can also be on there, so that you don't get people knocking on your door every day. So do you maybe provide meals? So you can put such information. The most important information can go on your signage if you have space on it. Put the most important information on your signage, and make sure that the colors are bright and beautiful, for not too much though, but
Yes.
just enough for children.
Yes, and this is a great example of why you shouldn't be changing your cell phone number all the time, because then you need to change your signage. So hold on to that SIM card, transport your number if you're changing phones. Otherwise, it's a cost again and again of changing your signage when you change your cell phone number. Tell me, Ati, is your business on Google Maps? Do you have any comments on Google?
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. So when you have your address or your preschool on Google Maps, it makes it a lot easier for people to find it, because they don't even have to confirm with you where it is. They can just click the name of the school, and there will be, I don't know if you can hear the truck just passed by. So they can just click on Google Maps, and then they will find it, and make sure that it is clear and it is very easily accessible. So people will get it easily if your location is on Google Maps.
Yes. So for those of you who are like getting like a bit scared, like how do you even get that done? It's very easy. If you have a Gmail account, most of us do, you can easily set up what is called Google My Business. So Google My Business is like Facebook for Google. It's your business page on Google. So look for Google My Business and create a Google My Business account. Then you can load your center's name, your address, your operating hours. In the Grow app and the resource section, in the marketing category, we have a document called how to register your center on Google Maps. So there is also a step-by-step free guide that you can easily download. Absolutely. The first place people look for, unless they're asking a friend, is they're looking on Google. So very important to be on Google Maps. The guide also gives some tips on hosting open days, and there's lots of details in the guide, but I want to go to the next one, which is that I think it's very important to have an easy to share digital flyer. So I know that many of you might still also be using printed flyers, but if someone's emailing you or WhatsApping you, you want to be ready to send them something back immediately that looks professional. And the little digital flyer is a great way to do that. You don't need a professional designer. Okay, you can do this for free. In fact, this little flyer that you're seeing here, I made it in PowerPoint. And we've made this template that you can see on the screen available as a free download in PowerPoint on the app. So you can also just edit the colors, edit the wording, put your own logo in there, put your own photos in there, and save that as an image. And that could be your digital flyer. Remember, if you're using photos of children from your school, make 100% sure that you have written permission from parents. So mostly I would suggest taking photos of your premises, your schools, space, the type of activities you do, rather not children, unless you really have permission. So top tip there, a free downloadable PowerPoint template for this flyer is available on our app. Next, Ati, let me just stick to you for a second. I know that Hope Preschool has a Facebook page. What are you putting on your Facebook page? Are people using it to find you? Tell us.
Well, that is one of my biggest tools to get new customers, because everyone is always on their phones, you know, so the world is just controlled by social media, most of it. So I decided, you know what, let me open a Facebook page for my preschool and share, you know, the nice activities that children do and the learning that takes place at Hope Preschool, so that people can get to see not only the name and the logo Hope Preschool, but they can see what happens inside of Hope Preschool. So for example, we had I'm just trying to think we had an outing. And so parents or potential customers will see, oh my goodness, they go to such places at this school. So I shared all of that. And of course, I need to get permission from the parents before I can publicly post the children's faces. So it is a very nice tool. It's a good tool to get customers. And there is another tool, or there's another part that you can use on Facebook. It's something that says click to WhatsApp, or it takes you straight directly to WhatsApp of the business or of the preschool. So I've also included that. I don't know if it's showing on your side, but I've got a nice thingy that says click, and then people would start sending me messages on my WhatsApp to inquire about the school. Where is the school? We like it.
Yes.
And then I would then tell them more about it. So
Exactly.
Facebook
That's a new feature, because Facebook obviously now owns WhatsApp. And so a great feature to add. If you have a Facebook business page, you can click to call, you can set, is it click to call, click to message, you can set it to click to WhatsApp. Yeah. And what I did is I went onto Ati and Bilkisha's schools on Facebook, and I can see their address, their operating times, a written section about the school. I can see reviews, lots of 5-star reviews for both schools. That is really fantastic. And it's essentially, in my opinion, like having a website, except it's for free. And having a website is a lot of admin. You mentioned WhatsApp. And we're going to come back to Facebook a little bit later when we talk about keeping customers, because Bilkish also has some great ideas for Facebook. But Bilkish, I'd like to chat to you about WhatsApp specifically. Tell us about what you told me when you explained how you take someone from being interested, they're sending you a WhatsApp, and you help them to actually become enrolled, sign up. What is your system that you use? How do you use WhatsApp?
So firstly, I think WhatsApp is a great tool to gain new customers, also to keep customers. So firstly, let's talk about gaining new customers. So when I get a new parent sending me a message, say this parent got my number off a colleague or off Google Maps, and the person messages me to say, I'd like to know about your school, what your fees are. And instantly at a click of a button, I've got everything saved, from my logo to my flyer to the information, you know, a little introduction of the school. I send it immediately to the person inquiring. And I think that holds a lot of weight, because obviously this new customer is going to think, wow, you know, they have everything in order, and you know, this is really amazing.
Where do you get it? Did you save it somewhere? Is it in WhatsApp?
Yeah.
Or how did you create that?
I saved it on my phone under my notes. So I've got all the details from the fees, what we do at the school. I've got my flyer saved there. And yeah, so it's just, I just send it to the person and everything's there.
That's such a good idea, because, you know, early in the morning, if someone sends me a WhatsApp, I still have time to type out a nice message. But by the afternoon, I am tired. I have received 100 WhatsApps. Then my SMSs or my WhatsApps would be quite blunt. So having something that you can copy and paste makes sure that you're always professional, you're always ready. I think that is such a great tip.
Yes, and you know, and I think ensure that it has all the information. Mm-hmm. So every question that you think would pop up as a potential customer, make sure you answer that question in your little notes.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And tell me, when you are busy enrolling, how important is that enrollment form? And having like because tip number 8 that we have is having a professional and POPI compliant enrollment form.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So in my enrollment form, which is also on the app, I have a media consent, which is very important, because we do a lot of marketing on Facebook, on Instagram, on WhatsApp. I ensure that the parents sign up on the media consent. So those that are not happy with having their kids' faces anywhere, so I know, and it's on file. Also, having a POPI compliant section in my application form is very important, and I think that tells the parents that, you know, this business is definitely above board, and they are taking my well-being into account. So firstly, yes, the media content, the well-being of the child. We know what's going around with children and social media, and, you know, all the bad vibes that go around. So it's important to safeguard your child's identity as well. So signing that media content is very important, and the Puppy Compliance Act, that
Yep.
also is very important. So even
go for it.
The application form, I have a hard copy at school. If parents visit us there, we give them a copy, or if they request it on WhatsApp, I can easily send it through to them.
Yes, that's great. I mean, especially if you're able to WhatsApp it to someone, it's not reliant on people visiting your center and you printing things. So if your center needs a enrollment form, we have a downloadable enrollment form template like this one, which is a few pages long. You can personalize it with your own center's logo. You can change it if you need to. And this enrollment form asks for all the information you need for your record keeping. So that's also available for free from the app. Are digital forms good enough? Mishka, digital forms are absolutely fine. You don't need hard copies. The point is that you have an enrollment form and that it has been electronically signed then, or signed that you have your record keeping in place, and also that wherever you're keeping it, physically or digitally, that it's password protected or protected and safeguarded, and you know how to find it. Bilkish, you're also using technology. Do you find that helps your center come across as more professional? What do potential parents think of that?
Parents have been very, very impressed with this new technology that we at the Grow Educare Centers are using. So when a new parent comes through, and even our current parents, for them to know that I have access to this app as a parent, which is the Lion app, and they can view their child's assessment, they can view their fee records, the payment records, they can even view their child's assessment on that app. So, just by letting a parent know that, we have advanced with technology, it's really amazing. And who wouldn't want their child at a school who's so technologically advanced, So I think
when people say technology in early learning, they imagine children with iPads. It's not that. It's also about how we as ECD owners manage our businesses using technology, connecting with parents, and all of that.
And the good thing about the app is it's very user friendly. So parents can actually log on. There's tips for them on how to extend a theme at home. For instance, if we are doing a certain theme at school, there are sections where it can help parents carry that theme over at home. There's a book link as well where parents can read stories to their kids, and parents are very excited about this.
That's amazing. I think parents want to be involved in their children's lives. Okay, so tip number 10, I'm not going to spend too much time on, but if you're in the fortunate position to be at capacity, don't underestimate the power of creating a waiting list. At the end of this year, some of your learners are going to graduate, and the easiest place to start would be if you already had a waiting list in your office and you could call out to those parents. So definitely invest in having a good waiting list and following up with those leads. We're halfway through the webinar. I think we've covered a lot. I'm feeling inspired. We've spoken about tips to gain customers. Let's talk about keeping customers, because this is so valuable. We have again 10 tips in the downloadable Marketing Your Preschool guide. Each tip has photo examples, ideas, and advice. Let's go into number 2. Bilkish, this is a photo of your notice board at your school. Tell us more.
So that notice board is absolutely vital, having that at your entrance where parents can see what's happening. Often when parents come through in the mornings, they are so rushed and they don't have the time to chat. But that notice board catches their attention. We put in all the vital points there, what's coming up, what's due, and it really helps.
Brilliant. Such a simple but effective solution. doesn't cost you anything, but a great way for you, even as an owner. You can't always be visible. You can't always be in front of your parents, but this is like, wow, Bilkish is talking to me. I really feel connected. Let's next talk about sharing clear and frequent communication. This message book is from Hope Preschool. Ati, talk to us about your message book.
So the message book, I know some people will say it's old-fashioned, but you know, it does really work for me because yes, I use the communication on WhatsApp, but then you get those parents that would tell me, oh no, there were so many messages in the WhatsApp group, I didn't see it. And then I would come back to them and say, but it was sent. It was sent in the message book. The message
dear.
is, yes. And most importantly, you need to date your letters and stamp them to show that it was really sent by the whole preschool staff or by the teacher. So it's very nice. And then one other thing that I always ask the parents to do is, if you've seen the message in the book, just sign to indicate that you've seen the message, so that when you come to me and say, but I didn't see it, then I can say, but this is your signature. So the message book works very well. It still works very well for me. And for those parents that might sometimes say, oh, my phone broke, or I lost my phone. So, but then we can still communicate through the message book.
Sometimes old school is still good. And I think that most schools, even businesses, I see this in business as well. We need face-to-face contact. We need WhatsApps. We need emails. We need messages in multiple places. It depends on where you are at, and it depends what works for your customer. It's not only about you. What is working for your customer? So that's really great. Shireen is asking, can I download the notice board on the app? Oh, Shireen, actually, we don't have the notice board on the app, but you could see there that it's essentially a whiteboard. It's essentially a whiteboard, and Bilkish is using whiteboard markers. So you could even just buy a normal, from a stationery shop, a plain white whiteboard. And then what could be nice is, imagine you take your school logo, you have that printed in color, and you laminate it and you put it at the top. And they're instant whiteboard notice board for you. Okay. So we're going from book, and then let's talk about WhatsApp as well. So Bilkish, you have WhatsApp groups at your school. How are you managing the WhatsApp groups? How are you making sure that they don't go crazy? And what are you doing to manage messaging and communications on WhatsApp?
So firstly, I tell parents that they cannot post anything personal on the WhatsApp group. Anything pertaining to their child, they need to DM me, send me a direct message. The WhatsApp group is just for mom and dad. Sometimes parents will make a request, can Gran be added on, because Gran is also a caregiver. So then I allow it. And I think I've been lucky because my parents have been really good on the WhatsApp group. So nobody's posting any good morning messages or anything like that. It's strictly school business, you know. So I use the WhatsApp group. Firstly, my logo on that WhatsApp group is my school logo. And so is my personal WhatsApp. It's my school logo. Because that's me, you know. So
it's
yes,
not you in a bikini at the beach.
Exactly.
I mean, this is the thing.
And
If you're in the public space, like a educator, a principal, a pastor, you have to look professional all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it's my school logo as the WhatsApp picture, and then I've got it marked as Pretty Palms WhatsApp group, and on there all the important messages go up, the reminders. Also, when we do activities during the day, when we have a birthday party, it's posted on that group. And I find that to be a very good marketing tool as well, because when parents are at work and the minute something exciting comes up on that WhatsApp group, they're showing it to their colleagues. And lo and behold, I will get a call from that colleague to say, I need my child at your school. And I often ask, where did you hear of my school? And they tell me, my colleague just showed me a video that you just posted. And so I think it's an amazing tool It's easy to use. It's so user friendly. And who doesn't have WhatsApp?
Yeah,
Some parents,
absolutely.
I don't have Facebook, I don't have Instagram, but WhatsApp, everybody has that. So it's, besides keeping your school, keeping your customers, and keeping your school in order, your daily program in order, the daily running of your school in order, it's a great marketing tool as well.
And we've put together a couple of do's and don'ts. Ati, do you want to add something?
Yes, I wanted to add something on how to keep your customers, your current customers.
Yes.
Some schools, I'm not saying I know of any, but you would get where they would promise, your child will be able to count to 50 by the end of the year. So keep to your standard. I mean, don't promise your customers something that you will not be giving them. And also appreciate them. Have events that will include the parents as well. I know one school had a grandparents' day or Mother's Day events, your Father's Day events. So involve your parents. Don't just get money from them every month and then you are done with them. So try to involve them in the child's education or in their school life, not to just say they are coming to school and going home. So
Yes.
create events that will include the whole family at home to know that, the child is actually at a school that is doing something to teach them. Yeah,
absolutely. In the marketing guide, we have a couple of WhatsApp do's and don'ts for you. I think we could make this list even longer, but here are just a few WhatsApp do's and don'ts. So for example, I have also met center owners who, if they have WhatsApp groups, they might set the WhatsApp group to be only the administrator can post. So parents can't post on the group. It's only for the teacher and owner to share content. If the parents want to say anything, they can just direct message the owner directly. That's also a great tip if you are worried about managing the dynamics on a WhatsApp group, unless, like Bilkish, you already have a parent group that is keeping it professional and understands the rules of the group. So, also things like writing in good sentences, checking your spelling, things like this is important. You are an educator. We want to see that you can write well. These things are important. And then definitely no ranting, blaming, accusing, and complaining. Don't share videos if you don't have permission. So we just have a few tips for do's and don'ts. Ati, do you have any do's and don'ts or things that you hate when that happens on Facebook? Sorry, on WhatsApp.
I have a description of, like, we have a group for the parents. So I have a description. There's a section where you can put a description for the group. So I would always, if one parent maybe would go above the description, I would just remind everyone, guys, remember the rules of the group. So one of the biggest rules that parents are battling to follow is the times of the group. So the group opens when the preschool opens at 6:30 and it closes when school closes at 6. So after 6, I don't respond to any message in the group, and it makes it so easy because parents will know they don't have to, I will say, bother me after 6 because they know I am not working after 6. So I think that is one of my rules for the WhatsApp group.
Principal Ati, you are inspiring me. I love that, because parents 10:30 at night want to know, what must I pack for that thing tomorrow? Yes, I can only imagine. Let's talk about another topic that both of you are very experienced in. Bilkish, tell me a little bit about some of the things that you've been posting on Facebook. How do you get your inspiration for what you will post? I mean, is it not exhausting every week thinking about what should I post? How frequently do you post?
I'd say, well, I post every time the school does an event. I'd say weekly, sometimes perhaps more. So if we are doing a special activity, I post that on Facebook.
Yes.
yeah, if there's an event coming up, I post that. If I have attended any training, I post that as well, because I need parents to know in whose hands their child is in, you know. So
yes,
yeah.
I love that. If you look at the bottom left of the screen, this is a little video where Bilkish videoed a certificate of course completion that she had just a course that she had attended, and I thought, oh, that's so clever. You know, it shows her commitment to her continuous professional development. So when you start thinking like that, there's so many opportunities really to post. In the middle photo, this is from Ati's school. It is a photo of their theme table for the week, and their theme was pollution. So again, all three photos here show no children. You can get creative even without showing photos of children's faces. Ati, do you want to add anything on ideas of what people can post?
Yeah, like I said in the beginning, you need to show now what's inside the school, because not everyone is going to get the opportunity to come into your school. And I mean, you cannot open an invitation for everyone to come to your school. So the best way to do it is to, you know, put pictures out there. If you did something very exciting, or maybe an accomplishment of a child, you can put it on Facebook, or you can post it. And so it doesn't have to be daily. I mean, we don't always have time to post on Facebook. So anything that you have, you can save it and you can post it on your Facebook page.
Yes.
So yeah.
Please do not feel pressure to post something every week. It's about quality and not quantity. Yes. Let's talk a little bit about sharing feedback. Bilkish, you mentioned learner assessments. How in the year do you plan feedback and engagement with parents as a way to keep them?
So our main assessments are done in June, and then again in November, and parents have access to that on the app, so they can view the child's assessment on the app. But we are also open to parent communication right through the year. You know, by WhatsApp, or even if I see the parent face to face, I always tell parents that, you know, this is how your child is coping. This is what we've done. You know, I think parents need to know, besides just, you know, the usual chit chat, let the parent know that, you know, this is what we're doing, and this is what I've noticed, and your child is doing really well. Your child loves morning ring. Your child loves playing with puzzles. And, you know, just that encouragement, whether it's good or bad, parents
yes.
Appreciate that kind of correspondence. And, you know, I think that would tell them that the school has my child's best interest at heart. And not just communication with
parents are not, go for it, sorry.
Yes, I said not just communication with me, even with the class teacher. So I've made it known to my staff that when a parent comes through, if you feel you need to discuss a child's progress, let them know the good as well. You know, we shouldn't be there just to say, I'm having this problem with your child. You know, parents need to know. I mean, how good would you as a parent feel if a child's teacher comes up to you in the morning and say, wow, your little one is doing amazing in class. You're going to leave off to work feeling so excited. So,
absolutely.
you know, that's a good tip to follow.
Yes, I mean, and parents are not educators. They're not trained educators. They don't always know what to look for. If I think of how enriching it has been for me to work with women and men in ECD and hear what they see in the child and what they are looking for. So share some of those things with parents, because parents need to know that they should look for it. And parents, I think, sometimes feel the pressure that they want their children to achieve milestones, like it's a matric assessment type of thing. It's about development. It's about the fact that the child is continuously developing. And as teachers and educators, we get that passion from you when you speak about the child. We pick that up. So we have lots of other practical tips about keeping accurate records, and you could, but let's talk about this one, which is about planning special occasions and special events. So if you look at the calendar for the year ahead, there are plenty of days coming up in 2023 that you can already put in your calendar. Some of those days you could even turn into fundraising days. Okay, so Grandparents' Day, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Heritage Day. Ati, could you tell us about maybe a day that you celebrated in this year and what you did?
So the Heritage Day, we had a Heritage Day for the children. And before we had the event, we obviously told the parents way before the time so that they could be prepared for funds that were involved in there, so that we don't just rock up today and say, look, parents, tomorrow we are having this event, so you need to take out 50 rands. I mean, 50 rands is a lot of money to just have for tomorrow. So we told them in advance, way in advance, so that they can be prepared to pay that amount. And the response from the parents was very good. So we told the parents, you need to prepare your child for this. And the parents did a very good job by dressing up the children in their different cultures. And yeah, the response was just very, very good because we informed them before the time. Make sure that communication is good with your parents.
Yes. I mean, I think in the beginning of the year, or even at the beginning of the term, it's a great idea to say, these are the upcoming dates and events for the next 3 months. Is it a dress-up day? Is it a civvy day? Are we selling cupcakes? Is it invite your grandparents? What is happening? And if there is a cost involved, to tell parents in advance so that they can budget for it, plan for it, and also let you know if they can't afford it, and they can have a conversation with you. Bilkish, I'd love to hear your thoughts on, and I'm going to open up a can of worms now, graduations. Graduations, I see on these Facebook groups, graduations that beat my wedding. They are grand. They are grand. They are tremendous.
You know,
tell me about how your perspective and your approach to graduation. And I'm thinking it's probably unique for each school.
Definitely unique for each school. So, well, this year, for the first time, I'm hosting a graduation dinner at a restaurant for parents and my grade R class. So it's kind of a posh event that parents are really looking forward to. And I've charged them a fee that will cover the meal and plus make a little money for my school. So it's also a fundraising event. Yes, and parents really, really look forward to this. But on that note, you know, just the other day I was chatting to a principal, and she said to me that her school fees for the month was 400 Rand. But for her graduation ceremony, she charges the parents 500 Rand. Now, imagine that. You know, parents really value that moment when their kids are graduating, and they would pay anything.
Yes, absolutely. I think it is a topic where we need to be sensitive to what the graduation is about. It is a milestone to be celebrated, but it also can't be a financial burden to a family literally a few days before the entire festive season starts. So, you know, we also have a responsibility. Ati, tell us a little bit about your graduation. How are you approaching it?
Oh, I'm still shocked with the 500 Rands. I know it's true. It's true. I was going through one of the Facebook posts of another graduation at another school, and the people were commenting and asking, wow, how much? 700 Rands per child. And the venue was nicely decorated, your drapings, your everything was so beautiful. You know what? It's not about the parents, it's about the children. Children would love anything with bright, beautiful colors. I haven't posted my pictures of my graduation, but it was something very simple. I just hung a few balloons there and I put on a Christmas tree, and that was it. And the parents enjoyed being there and the children had fun. And I only charged, if I may, I only charged 130 Rands for the graduation. So, and also, one thing I think is taking up a lot of money for the graduation is the graduation gowns, the the belts that goes around the necks and the caps. That costs a lot of money to hire. I could advise the principals to please get their own, so that next year you have your own, and for the next 10 years you will have your own. Don't hire them out. Keep them buy them for yourself, so that you are able to keep it for many more years to come. If you are short of one for the next year, you only top up on the ones that you've already got. But please don't charge so much money. You don't even have to go all out. It's not a wedding, it's just a graduation. It's just for a few hours and it's over, you know.
That's a great tip. I mean, if you could find a local seamstress that does good work for you, you could even maybe buy them throughout the year, or, you know, stagger that over time. I think that's really interesting, some interesting ideas. This year, something else that we did. Oh, sorry, Bilkish, do you want to say something?
Yes. Can I just add something as well about the fundraising part? It's so important to keep your parent and your community in mind. You cannot charge them exorbitant fees for things that are necessary in that child's preschool years, you know. So be very mindful of your customers.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Also, and what they can afford. With all the big amounts that you keep asking. And, you know, I often hear when parents come to my school, and firstly, when I tell them about the fees, they're very excited about the fees, because for my area, it's not a very high fee. And then we do not ask money for every little event. And parents often say, oh, but that school wants money every week, money for this and money for that and money for that. At the end of the day, they are all working parents. So be very, very mindful of that as well.
Exactly. And that doesn't mean that every event has to come from your own pocket. It's about planning and budgeting for it and working with what you've got. So so charging a fair fee and then seeing what can you do with that, rather than always adding up more and more. So I'm so glad you mentioned fundraising. We're currently busy working on a fundraising tips and how to fundraise for your center, a webinar similar to this one. So we hope that will be ready early in next year. Okay, so we'll invite all of you back in next year as soon as the fundraising tips is ready. We'll talk more about fundraising. Another interesting thing that we did this year is for all our Grow schools, we shared a parent survey. And maybe this is something new that you want to consider for 2023. It's, if you have a Google account, you can create a survey for free on Google Forms, and you can share that survey with parents, and parents really feel heard. It's a great opportunity for you to hear from parents who are maybe even not living in your province, who don't ever pick up or drop off the kids, and to hear the feedback on how your school is doing. It's not about criticism. It's about giving your parents a voice, hearing their feedback, and saying, can I become even better? So in the guide, if you download it, at the end, we have an example for you of a parent survey with questions already written out for you to give you some ideas if maybe you want to try out a parent survey in the new year. Great thing to do like in October, around October, to hear what parents are thinking of your school. And finally, we have suggestions that you should be asking for referrals. So if you are on Facebook, if you're on Google Maps, let people write reviews and give you some referrals. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 4 o'clock. We must stop speaking because there is lots more to do. We are so grateful for all your time and effort that you have, the time that you've made to be here today. Thank you very much. It really is a journey. Don't feel overwhelmed. Just take the first step. Just whatever really resonated with you today, write down a few bullet points for yourself on what you want to do. Also, as a part of your next steps, what you could do is you can get the Grow Giraffe app for preschool owners. It's on the Android or Play Store. It's not available on iPhone or iOS yet. Search for Grow Giraffe app. You can download the Marketing Your Preschool guide in our resource center. Take some time, plan your marketing activities for 2023. Maybe even ask for some help. If you have a daughter, a friend, an aunt, or a colleague who's good with marketing, ask for their support. And I hope in 2023, you gain and you keep those amazing customers. If I also want to just start a very quick poll so that we can hear how else we can support you in future. If you look on your screen now, there should be a question for you around whether you found this webinar useful, and also what topics can we cover in future that will be helpful for you. What else you want us to talk about in future. Thank you very much. I can see some questions coming in, some answers. Feel free to answer that. If you have any questions about the Grow app, we have a help desk that supports the app. If you have any questions, here are the details. And if you have any questions about Grow, please visit our website or email info@growecd.org.za. I'm sorry that we couldn't get to all the other questions that you had in the chat, but thank you very much for joining us. I found it very practical, very useful, and I hope you have an excellent 2023. I'm going to stay on the line a little bit longer to see if there's anybody else who has questions, but for those of you who need to go, you can leave. All right. We will share this recording as well as all of the notes by tomorrow, 4 p.m. Please give me 24 hours to prepare everything for you. Thank you. I'm getting lots of thank yous and great messages for everybody. I really appreciate it. All right, I'm going to end the poll. Thank you for all the feedback. Anders, thank you. I saw your question there. Hazel, I don't know if you're still on the call. You had a question about, as a municipality, sharing some tools at your ECD forum. So we have offices in Cape Town, Johannesburg, and Durban. If you are based in that area, we're more than willing to come to your ECD forum and talk to your local ECD forum about the topics that interest them, as well as to tell them about the technology and the app. Happy to do that. We had a question here from Dina saying, what if my parents are not very technology savvy? Yes, that's absolutely understandable. The app is really quite simple. So if you can WhatsApp and if you can Facebook, you definitely will be able to use the app. It's also low in data. Let me give you an example of a calculation that we did of someone using the Center Owner app for the full month, using every single feature. It used about 5 megabytes worth of data. And currently on most of the service providers, you can buy a gig's worth of data for about 150 Rand. And that means the month's usage of the app costs about 5 Rand worth of data. Just to give you an idea of how much data you'll be using. All right. Oh, Renee, you're mentioning the D6 app. Yes, I didn't even mention that. Only Facebook and WhatsApp. I don't know much about the D6 app, so sorry that I didn't mention that one. I don't know if D6 is free. And also we have our own app, hey? So can you see that marketing can't mention D6? Let me stop recording.